Sam Steffen, Sam Steffen, Sam Steffen, where have you been my entire life? I am so thrilled to have a chance to chat with you. I am such a fan of singer-songwriters, and oh my goodness, I want to call you sir.
Well, that's not necessary. Sam is good.
Sam is good. Okay, so really, like I'm a bit gobsmacked around your lyrics for sure. I want to get into that a bit. But tell me, first of all, like, how did you end up in Edmonton? Because I know that you were born in the States, from the States, and now you're in Edmonton. I'm sure it wasn't the weather that brought you there.
Yeah. Well, the quick story is that my wife actually got a job. She just finished up her PhD last year at about this time, and she got a job at the University of Alberta. So that was kind of our reason for coming here. And I was kind of riding her coattails in a way, but I've landed in the smack in the middle of it, and have found a really great and welcoming music scene here in Edmonton. So really glad to be here.
Well, and they've been keeping you a bit of a secret, you know?
Well, I don't know. It might just be that I've just been kind of playing in local spots, and I haven't done any real big things yet. So yeah, maybe it's me.
Well, okay, so artistic directors talk amongst themselves. And I heard from Bill and Betty Joe up at Northern Lights. They just went, "You've got to hear this young man." And I was just like completely blown away. What I love about your work, Sam, is that, I mean, I know that your bio says a bit about being a storyteller, but here's for me, it's more like exploring an idea or a theme, and there's a whole bunch of stories within it, but it's not your usual kind of start here and move here. It's kind of like you do this and this and this, and then the story emerges in the middle of it. I
Hmm.
don't know if that's intentional, but that's really what I got, is that it's much more illustrative storytelling. I
Yeah,
don't even know if that's a word or a term, but that's what it felt like to me.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have a lot of songs that are, yeah, have kind of a narrative that they're kind of trying to trace. I've been criticized a little bit for, a lot of my songs are, I think the average length is about 8 minutes, if I'm playing the full, the full thing. So they do lean a little onto the long side. But yeah, I think I just get kind of caught up with the story, and then I find that if you just keep writing more verses, sometimes it can take the story in a place that you didn't even know it was going. And I think if you can kind of listen to something for that long, and kind of give it some time, the listener can come on that journey with you. And
Yeah,
um,
and yeah, absolutely. And when you say that, you write another verse, you write another verse. When I listen to words, I like about the third verse in, I was like, oh my goodness, I hope he's writing more verses for what's happening now. And then at the end, you know, spoiler alert, but you say I could write verse after verse after verse about this, but I guess maybe I should stop now. And I was just like, okay, you really anticipated that whole thing, but it's a very your style is really unique. Um Influences.
Yeah, well, I've really been influenced by, like, a lot of the folk musicians from like the 60s, like Woody Guthrie, Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, a lot, and a lot of they were drawing on stuff that's even older than them, when they were writing songs, and kind of using what came before to kind of, I think, participate in a tradition, really. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to do with a lot of my music. I don't really think I'm doing anything new with music, but I'm maybe just kind of like updating, like an old form with more recent things.
Yeah.
Um,
And I would say you're more than trying. I would say you're succeeding with it. And I would also add in, like when I first started listening, I don't do a lot of, oh, this artist reminds me of this artist, but I was just like, I feel like I'm listening to somebody who listened to John Prine over and over and over and over again, and it kind of seeped in, you know. And updated, but you've got that kind of wry sense of humor that kind of comes in as well that I really, really find delightful, clever and delightful. So your background, like, I mean, you did the Spring from the Womb writing songs. What kind of lot, what brought you to here?
Yeah, well, I grew up in a pretty musical family. My dad played guitar when I was growing up, and my mom was actually a minister for most of my childhood in the church. So I was kind of around a lot of singing and stuff like that. And I think I learned how to play guitar when I was in high school, and was always really interested in songwriting, but never really had the courage to try it until well after I graduated from college. And then I remember I moved home, and I started going out to some open mics and kind of getting a sense of how people were, kind of sharing their own work. And I thought, well, yeah, maybe I could give this a try. And my background, my education background was in creative writing. So I always kind of thought of myself, I want to like tell stories and be a writer. Um, and Originally, I was, like, trying to become, like, a short story writer or a novelist or something like that. I really enjoy writing fiction, but the thing about songs is that they're a little bit more finishable than, like, a novel project. So, actually, one of my, song collections is called Failed Novels, and they're kind of like songs that could have been longer things.
Yeah.
Um
Vignette. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
vignette. Yeah, cool. Well, I am so excited because having you at the club, I think that I know our audience is going to just eat you up with a spoon. And like when you started, holy smokes, like you said, you didn't start songwriting really or seriously till after you graduated. You got 19 CDs out. Like who has 19 CDs out? Like that's a lot. And I recognize that it's, that you're an independent, you and your guitar, which is totally enough, but that's a lot of output, a lot of creative output.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have been doing it for a while, and I think once I started doing it, it sort of like you sort of start to think like a songwriter after a while, and then it's like you start to realize that everything people say could be a song in some way, and then I don't know. So I've just kind of been in that mindset for a long time, and um, yeah, the songs just write themselves a little bit.
Well, I think that the muse is landed, and you certainly do it justice. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I'm so excited to have you at the Calgary Folk Club, kicking off our 54th season. You'll be the first up for the once, and I'm going to go on record here to say that I suspect that this will not be your last visit to the Folk Club. I suspect that audience is going to go, holy for goodness sakes, and we'll be seeing you again after that. But for those people who are in the Calgary area, 19th of September. And for those people who are not in the Calgary area, you can catch the show on live stream. And we also make it available for 72 hours following. So you don't even have to stay up at dumb hours to watch it. Super excited to have you, Sam. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm super excited to be coming. So thanks.
Perfect.